Welcome to this edition of The Forum. I'm your host, Sheila Evans. Here on The Forum, we highlight interesting and important achievements, programs, and events within our school system and community. And today's show is no exception. Things get underway with Tiffany Leslie. She is with the Special Olympics of New Hanover County and has all the details on their upcoming 2016 Polar Plunge and 5K Run Walk event. Then we meet with Sabra Wright, Title I Special Program Specialist. She will tell us all about the upcoming Magnet School and Choice Fair, which parents can attend. And finally, we sit down with April Morey Query. She is our regional representative with the College Foundation of North Carolina. She will discuss ways people can pay and plan for college. It's another great edition of The Forum, so stick around. We'll get right back with our guests after this short break.
You know, little trash becomes big trash. So please, don't litter.
Do your part to keep America beautiful.
Oh my God! John!
I am joined by Tiffany Leslie. She's the Special Olympics Coordinator for Special Olympics New Hanover County. We have the Polar Plunge coming up. Tell us about it.
Okay, so the Polar Plunge is our annual fundraiser, and it's a fun way for people to get involved to help support our local Special Olympics program. And it's a way for them to come out to the ocean that day and possibly jump in.
Woohoo!
You don't have to. You know, there's other activities that day. So we're going to start out the Polar Plunge at 11 o'clock in the morning. And at 11, it kicks off with the band. We're having like a little street fair almost, a car show, raffles. We're going to have that as well. So 5K. And so if they don't want to jump in the water, they can do the 5K.
Is the 5K in the morning, like 9 o'clock?
1:30.
Oh, so it's after. So the day starts with the Polar Plunge.
The plunge is at 3.
Oh.
So we end the day with the plunge.
Okay.
So once they get wet, they can go home and get dried off.
Oh, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, so they can warm up if they want to with the 5K. You don't have to, it's optional. Or just do one or the other. And then cool down with the plunge if you want to. And then after the plunge, we pack up and go. So everybody's cold at that point.
So the activities start at 11, like the car show and some of the other things.
Like the street fair activities will start at 11, the bands and everything, and then it kind of builds up to the plunge.
And the 5K is a run walk?
It is. So if you don't want to run it, you can walk it. And there is also a 1 mile fun walk. So you don't have to do the 5K if you still want to donate and be a part of the event to support Special Olympics. And you don't want to plunge, you don't want to run, there's a way you can still
get some
be
exercise and support Special Olympics.
And pooches are allowed to come, so they can either plunge with you or they can walk with you.
Ooh. That would be fun. My lab would like that.
Yeah, mine too.
Where is the walk and the run?
It's going to be at the same location as the plunge site. So the plunge is actually going to be right there at the boardwalk at Carolina Beach, right beside of the Marriott. And the run starts right there where all the activities are. And then you go down, it's a big loop that comes back and ends at the same place.
Okay. And cost?
The cost, so it's $25 to do the run or the walk, and it's $50 to do the plunge, $30 if you're a student. So if you're a student, it's cheaper because we know that you can't afford it. But from us, it is a fundraiser. So if you can, you don't have to get it out of your pocket. And here you go, you could actually raise money. Maybe go to family members, go to a business or whoever you want to. Maybe someone out of state if you have any family out of state, and maybe they can help you out and support you or sponsor you to do this. So
speaking of the cost, where does the money go?
All the money, 100% of all of proceeds go directly to support our local Special Olympics
great.
program.
Can't beat that.
That's right. And right now we have about almost 600 athletes in our local program that we provide programs for, and so it's really important, the money, and this is our only annual fundraiser, which is why the Polar Plunge is so important.
Okay.
It takes almost about $40,000 plus to put on all of our programs in our county for our athletes. So that's why it's so important to raise the money for them, because we get no government funding at all, and we rely solely on our Polar Plunge.
Okay. Well, tell us more about Special Olympics here in New Hanover County.
All right, so Special Olympics is a nonprofit organization. Again, we have about 600 athletes that we do support in our local county. We also have some athletes that come over from Brunswick County or Pindier County. We provide about 14 sports right now for them to do, and that's annually. So it's a year-round sports program. So it's not that one-day event, you know, it's year-round, it's constant,
Right.
Weekly programs. We also have social events for them, like dances and things like that. We also have our one-day events that people usually, you know, think of what Special Olympics is, like our spring games or our fall games and things like that. But it is a year-round program for individuals with intellectual disabilities.
So who can participate?
Anyone who is 8 years old or older, as long as, you know, as old as they want to be, if
Okay.
they want to continue to participate with any form of intellectual disability, that they can definitely participate in our program. They don't have to be exactly in New Hanover. They can, like I said, come from Pender or, you know, Onslow or some other counties. If they don't have what they're looking for in that county, then they can definitely come over in our county and participate at no cost to them.
I was just going to say, is there any cost to them at all?
It is not. So it's free for all of our athletes, and it's free to their families. So it's 100% we pay for everything. All of their traveling, all of the food, all of the clothes that we put them in for the sports.
So all the training,
all the
everything leading up to
training.
the games.
Right.
Nice.
Every single thing is paid for, so they don't have to worry about it.
So why is donating to Special Olympics so important?
Have you ever been out to a Special Olympic event?
I have.
Okay, and to see their faces when they're doing whatever they might be doing, throwing a softball or running a 25-meter race, and just see the joy on their face. It is an amazing opportunity to do something like that if you have not, but you know, Special Olympics is obviously dear to my heart, but you know, as well as other people's, and just to see their joy, to see, you know, something that they might not normally get because of because of their disability. And we're not focusing on that disability, we're focusing on what they can do and
Right,
not what they
sure.
can't do. And that is what Special Olympics is about. And we're trying to, you know, bring up, hey, you know what, just because you have like some, you know, something that, or some obstacle that you might have in your life, that's okay. We all have obstacles, and this is what Special Olympics is about, to bring them up, to show them what they can do, and show them, you know, they're loved no matter what. And, you know, I think Special Olympics is amazing, and we, and that's what the Polar Plunge is about, is to help get that support for our local athletes.
So Saturday, February 13th, starts at 11-ish.
It starts at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
It starts right at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
Gates open. I mean, there's no gates, but you know,
Gotcha.
it opens, and we're going to have a street fair and everything. And you know, just come out, even if you don't want to plunge, if you don't want to run, whatnot. I mean, there are going to be, like I said, you could just look at the street fair, watch the crazy people who are going to jump in.
Very good. Thank you, Tiffany, for that information, and we'll be back in a few minutes right after these messages.
Thank you.
Passing gas in the presence of others is not only inappropriate,
That is so foul.
it can be deadly. Passing gas releases a fog of carbon monoxide
Grandpa,
and other poisonous fumes that can contribute to asthma and pneumonia.
you're killing us over here.
Kids shouldn't be exposed to secondhand smoke. Don't pass gas, take it outside.
There are 16 million children struggling with hunger in America. That's 1 in 5 daughters, sons, neighbors, and classmates who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Yet billions of pounds of good food go to waste every year. It's time we do something about it. Feeding America is a nationwide network of food banks that helps provide meals to millions of kids and families in need. Visit feedingamerica.org to help them feed even more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
I am joined by Sabra Wright. She's a Title I Special Program Specialist with New Hanover County Schools. And we are here today to talk about the Magnet and Choice School Fair. Tell us a little bit about the fair. Is this a new thing?
It is a new thing. This is
okay.
our first year having a Magnet and Choice Schools Fair. We're looking to promote the programs that we have in our Magnet schools.
Okay. And when are they?
The first fair is going to be February the 23rd. It's a Tuesday at the Board of Education Center on 13th Street.
Okay.
It'll be from 5:30 to 7.
Okay.
We'll have Coddington, Freeman, Gregory, Snipes, and Virgo at that fair.
Okay.
The second one is going to be that Thursday, which is the 25th of February, from 5:30 to 7.
Okay.
And that will be at Eaton Elementary.
Okay.
So we'll have Eaton, and then we'll still have Snipes, Freeman, Gregory, and Virgo.
Okay. And will people actually apply at that time?
Applications will be out March 1st for kindergartners. The kindergarten application process begins March 1st and ends March 18th, I'm sorry. For existing elementary and middle school students, it'll start March 21st and go through March 29th. Okay. There will be somebody there that is that works with the applications and the lottery process, and there may be some papers handed out that night.
Okay. So when I walk into the Board of Education building, what's it going to look like?
It'll look like a fair.
Okay.
Every school will have a booth.
Okay.
And at that booth, they'll have representatives, some parents, maybe some students, some hands-on activities that they do, some videos that they would show of things that happen at their school, more like giving a kid's perspective of the school. There will be people there to do one-on-one discussions with parents if they have any questions. And there'll be an information booth for any questions that have to do with applications, student assignments, things like that.
Okay.
We'll have a kids corner for the little kids so that the parents can actually pay attention to what's going on
there you go.
At the fair. A few giveaways and a couple of vendors.
Okay. Who is eligible to apply for a school, magnet school or school, choice school?
Any student who is a resident of New Hanover County can apply. At this fair, we'll only be focusing on middle school and elementary school. And the only middle school that will be there is DC Virgo because it's the only magnet that is a middle school.
Okay. How and when can parents apply?
They can, when they come to the fair, they may get more information about that, but those dates that I gave earlier, the 1st through the 18th for kindergarten and existing students, kindergarten through 8th grade, would start on March 21st.
Okay. And do you apply online, or is it literally a paper application?
It is a paper application, but I believe it may be one online as well.
Okay. Do you print it off online and still hand in paper?
Probably.
Okay.
I know that, safe to say, definitely the paper. I'm not sure about the online one.
Who should be attending the fair?
Everybody.
Oh, okay.
Anybody who's interested in learning more about those schools, the programs that they have. If you have a student that is going into kindergarten, definitely need to be there. You definitely need to be there. It'll give you more insight into what those programs have, what those schools offer.
And you said that this was through middle school. Do we have choice schools at the high school level?
Actually, we have a lot. Open choice is basically, the choice schools are just schools that are outside of a student's assigned district that they can apply for through the lottery process. And if that school has openings or they have available slots,
that's okay.
They can apply to go there.
And how does that work? How do you know if a school has available spots?
You would apply for the choice, and if they don't have available slots, they'll let you know.
Is it typical for them not to have spots,
Yes.
or do most?
It is
kind
typical.
of overcrowded in the high schools
It's a
right
lot
now,
of overcrowding in the high schools.
Okay.
So it is typical that they don't have spots.
Now, do we still have the term open enrollment like we used to?
That's pretty
Obviously,
much
I'm an
what it
old
is.
parent, but
I think open choice and open enrollment are about the same.
Okay. And is transportation provided?
At Gregory, Transportation is provided because they do not have a district. Eaton and Coddington, if you are in a certain section of the city and it's close to there, if it's in their transportation district, then yes. But other than that, you'd have to find a way to get your children there.
Okay, so let's review who the magnet schools are again.
Okay, we have Gregory.
Okay, elementary.
Elementary. We have Freeman Elementary, Snipes Elementary, DC Virgo Preparatory Academy is the middle school. And Eaton and Coddington will be there because they're their choice schools, year-round choice schools that only accept students through lottery.
When does a lottery usually happen? So you apply in March. When do folks generally find out if they've...
There's a timeline that will be available at that fair as well, but it will be after the application process. Yeah.
So maybe 30 days later or something to that effect. What else do you think, what else do magnet schools seem to offer a little bit different than the traditional schools?
Well, each of them has their own special program.
Okay.
Gregory is transitioning from a STEM program to a language immersion program.
Oh, okay.
So they will be offering that, which students would leave their school being fully immersed in a second language, fluent, very fluent in that. Snipes has theater arts, and they are looking to implement instruments as well. So those students will get access to more arts at that school. Freeman is a STEM school, so they'll be working towards being fluent in engineering processes and learning the science, technology, engineering, and math. DC Virgo is a STEAM school. They'll work on the science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
Gotcha.
They work with Project Lead the Way. They do a lot of things with businesses in our community, like Verizon and other places. A lot of collaboration with the museums as well. So those are the things that you could look for in those schools.
Good. Well, Sabra, thank you so much for that. And kindergarten, March 1st through the 18th. And then the older kids, the 21st. Okay. And the fair?
The fair, February 23rd and February 25th.
23rd at the Board of Ed, 25th at Eaton.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be back in a few minutes right after these messages.
Each year, thousands are senselessly killed by people with no criminal record at all. People like you.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? I'm Brian McKnight for RAD, recording artists, actors, and athletes against drunk driving. When you booze and cruise, you lose. So give your keys to a friend, because friends don't let friends drive drunk.
My next guest is April Query. She's with CFNC. She's our regional representative. Tell us some of the things that we need to know in high school as we're preparing for college.
Sure. So as students are in high school and they're preparing for college, they need to do a variety of different things. The first thing they probably want to do is make sure they're working with their school counselors, meeting with them frequently to make sure that they're registering for the correct classes. That's one piece, is making sure we're registering for classes that will prepare us for the four-year institutions, taking challenging courses in areas where you feel comfortable doing so. So that's going to be a nice one. Making sure you're staying involved with extracurricular activities, keeping those types of things up. Colleges are really looking for holistic and well-rounded students who are involved in activities and pushing themselves academically and taking leadership roles. And students should also start to become aware of the average GPA, SAT scores, ACT scores for the schools that they're interested in so that they have a goal of where they need to be when senior year comes.
And they can usually find that out by going on the website of that school and looking who entered last year.
Yes, so they have two ways they can do that. They can go onto the individual colleges' websites and look at the last year's entering class, and then on cfnc.org, under the Plan for College section, they can review all of the different college profiles in North Carolina and learn about the same stuff for the previous year. So, you know, the nice thing about, you know, North Carolina and probably any state is we have students every year that are becoming even, you know, better academically. So, of course, those average GPAs go up a little bit every year usually, but it's nice to know, for example, if you're in that middle 50% range of admissions, or if you need to retake the SAT or the ACT. So looking at that stuff on the college's websites and on CFNC will let you know where you stand and where you need to improve and where you don't.
Very good. When do you think students should apply for college?
Application process will start senior year, so it'll start right away. We don't really have any schools in North Carolina that are going to take applications prior to senior year, but I encourage students junior year to go onto their college's websites, perhaps take a look at the application, get a feel for what they're looking at. This whole process shouldn't be a surprise or a mystery. We should know that, you know, UNCW requires an essay and what that question is, but they'll apply senior year. Early admissions, those deadlines come around in the fall, so they would want to get a look at those college deadlines, and then there's regular decision, which will come maybe in the winter. So when they do it will depend on where they are. Of course, if they're doing early admissions, the college is only going to see their GPA through junior year, so they would need to feel really confident with that at that point to say, this is where I'm at, I think this is good enough, and if not, they might want to wait for regular decision to get that first semester of grades to perhaps boost their GPA a little bit.
So would it be fair to say that junior year is probably the important year?
Yes, it really is. Students don't always realize that, but it's really, it's a very important year for planning, and I think if you take advantage of that year to do some of the planning and map things out, senior year can be a little bit less stressful overall.
And you're right, applications are very different from school to school. Some are hard, some are fairly easy. They take that common application.
Right, yes.
So having an idea of where you want to apply is a good idea.
It really is, and you know, like I said, senior year, we don't need to wait till senior year to see what a college application looks like and see what they're wanting and make sure that you feel confident to tackle that. I actually like to show college applications to middle school students. Of course, we're not applying yet, but just to look and see what's on there, and the goal is to get them to say, I could do this right now, so that it takes that intimidation away of the process and the application.
Speaking of those applications, what information is typically on the applications?
So they're going to have some basic demographic information. So who are you, where do you live? They'll ask about parents as well. They'll ask about when they're planning on enrolling, so fall or spring, full-time, part-time, if they're going to live on campus or not. They're also going to ask what the student's planning on majoring in. It's not set in stone, but it's an important moment. And it goes back to making sure that your colleges have the different programs you're interested in, because we don't want to realize senior year as we're doing our applications that, oh gosh, Appalachian State doesn't have a marine biology program, you know. So we want to look at that in advance, and they'll ask about what classes they're taking senior year, the core academic classes, and a lot of times they'll ask for an essay. Sometimes it's an essay where they have the option to do it, and we always encourage students to do it. Option isn't really an option, do it.
Okay. So you feel like they should plan for the essays?
They really should.
Is there a way to do that?
Well, if they look like UNCW's, for example, their question is usually, why UNCW? So a way you could plan for that is in advance, do a campus tour, look around, perhaps sit in on a class or two, especially in a class that you're planning on majoring in that department. Have a reason, you know, perhaps they sat in on a class and met a professor and they impacted them. They encouraged them to go through with that major. So have a reason behind that, and that's going to take a little bit of planning, like a campus tour and things like that.
And then like UNC changes their questions every year.
Yeah, they change their questions every year.
And they're a little more difficult than why.
It is. So sometimes, you know, depending on the school, you know, the question might be related to you personally, individually, your experiences as a human. And so as students are, for example, having community service time, volunteering in their community, hopefully they're developing things about themselves. They're developing as a person, as an adult. They're having these experiences that are impactful. And so I think if we're starting early on to have our students kind of in the world and doing these different things, hopefully they're building some experiences resources so that when they do get the more difficult questions, they have some answers.
Okay. When do you think families should start to be thinking about paying for college?
That's a great question. They should start thinking about paying for college immediately. As we know, cost of attendance rises every year, so I really encourage families to start saving in one way or another immediately. There's a tool on our website, cfnc.org, in the Save section where they can plug in their student's date of birth, so you could have a 6-month-old and get a feel for what college is going to cost when they turn 18. And so that allows you to start planning. Of course, we hope our students are going to get scholarships. They have to actually apply for the scholarships to get them, but we hope that
Where would they apply for scholarships?
They can apply for scholarships a few different ways. The 4 ways that I kind of consider to be the main ways are through their school counselor. So we have local scholarships that exist, for example, within New Hanover County. School counselors are going to know about those, and so that's going to be a first resource for them. Local scholarships could be offered by the PTA, Kiwanis, a local business. CFNC.org, under the pay section, there's scholarships there, so that's a second resource. These are state-based scholarships, so students that reside in North Carolina and or are planning to stay in North Carolina to go to college. A third resource is the institutional scholarships. So these are the scholarships offered by the colleges. Again, junior year, I would visit the college websites, look for the financial aid, scholarship information. You need to figure out who has early deadlines, like October. Like NC State has some October deadlines for scholarships. And then UNCW's deadline is March 1. So you just got to plan that out, and then there's national scholarships as well. So you've got local, state, institutional, and national.
And finally, any information that they need for financial aid and that kind of thing they can find on the website, like the FAFSA information and that kind of thing?
Yep, so if they go to cfnc.org, in the pay section, there's videos, tutorials, frequently asked questions, and believe it or not, their school counselors are usually pretty well versed, and then they know how to get questions answered as well.
All right, April, thank you for all that, and we'll be back in a few minutes right after these messages.
I got a little pop quiz for you. About what? Me. What do I have a hard time keeping shut? Name one team I played for. And what is my nickname? And now I got one for you. Do you know your kid's principal's nickname?
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school. And know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
Yes, you are. Come here. Let's see how this looks.
Hey, how's my little horse?
She's a lion.
Yes, she is.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.